Peace and K.O.S. Thank you for viewing. We return for who are the Moorish Americans. Now, when I understood this study came from this man by the name of Timothy Drew, better known as Noble Drew Ali, who was an American. And so his study and his words led to what we're going into today in our study of who are the Moorish Americans. Now, this have been hidden in all my life and all until the point I became to study. So when you begin to study, you hear this word come up, and now it's more prevalent now in my time. Before I started on my journey, it's now more prevalent, called indigenous. This word indigenous is now everywhere almost, and so we need to get an understanding of what this applies to, and does this apply to Moorish American, and what is and who is a Moorish American? Is a Moorish American indigenous? Is a Moorish American African? Is a Moorish American American? Is a Moorish American a nigger? Let's get to these questions right here. So I hope this provides some answers. And let's start. Indigenous. Now, indigenous is an adjective. So we see now it's not a noun. So it's an adjective. So it's describing, it's a description of a noun. So now we have to say American is American, an indigenous word. So when we come into the understanding of what indigenous is, before we get to America, we got to get to indigenous. So indigenous means you born somewhere or originated in a particular place, born in some country or some native, sprung from the land. These are the words as you see as the genuous or indigenous. And so you see, it's got to do with gene. The word gene is indigenous, so it has to do with genetics. And so indigenous don't tell you the describing of your descent, of your genetics, or where your genetics are from. So indigenous is a good word, but it doesn't describe our descent of bloodline or your spiritual line. So indigenous American fits, but it don't give the descent. So when we say American now, let's go to American and let's go and see for ourselves what American says. Okay, American is a noun. That's good. We're looking for nouns. Noun, that's good. American. That's coming up later, so stay tuned. It slipped early for y'all. That means some of y'all must ain't gonna get it early. Or get it later. Y'all need it early. So there you go. Now for those. American, a noun. Now this was said in the 1570s. So not even 100 from 1492. So we're saying originally American was one of the aboriginal peoples discovered in the Western Hemisphere by Europeans. Right there for you to see. The Europeans discover some people in the Western Hemisphere, and these people are called Americans. And these Americans, in the word, it use aboriginal. These are aboriginal people. So when we go look up the word aboriginal, we see this word means it's an adjective. And so it means first, it means earliest, it means existing from the beginning. So aboriginal people or American is saying the first people, the earliest people, the people existing from the beginning. Very interesting. So now it says further along says especially in reference to inhabitants of lands colonized by Europeans. Found by Europeans and colonized by Europeans is two different things. It said aboriginals are in reference to inhabitants of lands colonized. So colonized by Europeans is saying aboriginal, an original inhabitant, and an autochthon. That is an aboriginal, but that still doesn't suffice as a noun given a descent. Aboriginal to what descent? To who? And this is what we're on. Who are the Moorish Americans? Indigenous means native. Aboriginal means American. So American. So why do they put the word African? Let's go and look up the word African. Why do they place African on front of American? And as we see, African is a noun. So that's a place to start. We're looking for a noun. Let's see, can we get some accuracy? Old English, Africanus. Africanus, okay. Native of, inhabitant of Africa. Well, that cancels us out right there. We American, so we're not inhabitants of Africa. So if we are American, how can you be two indigenous people of one land? Unless you're saying the Americans went to Africa. And these are African Americans. But if we're saying that we are inhabitants of Africa before inhabitants of America, saying we're not American African, they don't use that. They're using a certain sequence of African American. And if we say that title, that means you're an inhabitant of Africa. So we know that's not right. So we can't use that. And then when we go further along, it said used of white residents of Africa. And this was in 1815. And then it says used of black residents of the U.S. Oh, so definitely we can't play these games. White people and black people are both claiming African? Okay. We definitely can't go with that word African. That has to do with that land we on over here. Then it says one brought from Africa. Mm. Then it says sometimes was contrasted to the native born Negro. The native born, we just read, that's like indigenous, native born, aboriginal. They giving that to a Negro. Okay, so let's click on Negro. What we find? Who is the Negro? The Negro is a noun. Okay, we're getting closer. It means a member of a black-skinned race of Africa. Oh, now we can't dig with that now. It was cool to maybe until you said Africa. We in America. So that's not cool as African American or Negro American. These words are unsuffice for the people. So we go and see, and we heard of indigenous, we did that, Aboriginal, American, and African is what we're dealing with, and the Negro. So now we're going to go with the Arab. Now we're going to look up the Arab, because I don't know if you know, but let's look up the Arab so we can know. Arab. Okay, we're in a good direction. It's a noun. Okay, so Negro is a noun. African is a noun. American is a noun. Arab is a noun. So they placed on black people African American. Okay, so let's see. It says Arab is one of the native people of Arabia. We're going to use the common words, common pronunciation. One of the native people of Arabia and the surrounding regions. Okay. Who is Arab? Okay, native people. So I say native people. We're familiar with that term. Let's keep going. Arabis. That's the plural form. Then the Old French. So it goes to Old French. A rabbi. Old French, a rabbi. Then it go to Latin, Arabs. This is where you hear Arabs. Yeah. So I know you have a concept of Arabs, but let's see if it's this concept. Now, from Arabs, you get the Greek word Arabs. So now we get the Latin into the Greek, the B into the P. And this is where they did not cover all their tracks to completion of their mission, which is to destroy the all our culture. So now we finna get to what is a Arab. Now we know this word. These are people who rap. Arab is a people who raps. There's only one people that raps. Started rapping all the time. And they make rappers and call themselves rappers, and they make raps. And this is literally the Greek word, a rap. A rapper is an Arab. So only people who rap is Americans. Americans is said on the first and the existing before. So, and then now we see Arab means indigenous name of the people. Arab actually means indigenous. The word we've been looking for that we started our search with, indigenous, is the word Arab, which is the word Arab. The indigenous people who bust raps, who rap all the time. Oh, this is where we get some good. Okay. So when we moving through, this is what we go understand with the Arab, the Arab, as they say. Arab is the indigenous name. So we now see it Karaba with Hebrew Araba. Araba, Hebrew. Don't we call yourself Hebrew Israelites? Oh, let's go further. The meaning of Arab is homeless little wanderer. Look what they label it. A homeless little wanderer, aka a child of the street. Who the only people say the streets? The streets, the streets. The streets that, the streets this. I had to get it out the streets. That's on, you only hear that in raps. A child of the street. That mean street mean paved road. Paved road mean wrong. Concrete jungle. Getting out the streets. And then it says the Arab is the nomadic ways of the Bedouin. The Bedouin. So now we like, okay, Arab. Okay. We got some good things out of that. We found out there's the people who rap. And so the people that they call Arabs, they definitely don't rap. The people in America, they do rap. The people in America are indigenous. All that coincides with the whole little Hebrew thing. Why people are all on the Hebrew thing. Why people all on the streets thing. If you ain't in the Hebrew, you're in the streets. If you ain't in there, you like someone wondering. Free, in other words, we talking about. Of course, when they do their writings now, you know they gonna do what they do. But now we got to get to it. So now let's lead you to this word. This is word at the bottom right here that leads us right here. Arabesque. Arabesque. This word right here. This word Arabesque leads us to the word Moorish. This word that is a noun that's pronounced Arabesque says that Arabic is Moorish. It said Arabesque is Moorish or Arabic ornamental design. Hold up. So Arab is those who rap. Those who rap are Arabs. Those who Arabs are indigenous. Those people called Arabs are Moorish. Moorish? What is Moorish? And see, this is where I tell you where this man come in. Because we're going to get into some little etymology. You see it say Moorish. When you look it up, it says pertaining to the Moors. And you're like, dang, pertaining to the Moors? Then who are the Moors? Then you got verb Moor. Then you got noun Moor. So we want to get to the noun Moor. And so now you start getting some correlation. We ain't getting no correlation before. It says more now. It says North African. It says Berber. It says one of the race dwelling in Barbary. It says inhabitant of Mauritania. It says Roman Northwest Africa. It says a region now corresponding to northern Algeria and Morocco. From Greek moros, perhaps a native name or also a cognate with moros, black. Oh, cha-ching. This is where we get some culmination, some cognation, black. Now we familiar with the word black. Hold up, black. Only niggas call themselves black. And black is Moorish? Black is Moorish? No, it also applied to the Arabic conquerors. We just read Arabic is Moorish. Being a dark people in relation to Europeans. Hold up. Don't my name? Their name in the Middle Ages was synonym for Negro. Later being the nearest Muslims to Western Europe, it was used indiscriminately to describe Persians and Arabs, but especially those in India. Ooh, especially those in India. Ooh, so you're talking about Buddha and all the teachers in India, Vishnu, the Lord, that's where you get Ramana and, oh, man, oh. So there's a lot to chew up on that. So it's a lot of mixology in here. But you get closer to what is cooking. And that's Arab. And so now you see these sources are coming, they 14th century. Okay. So now I'm going to go into an older source than this source. And we're going to see what this source says. Oh. Sufa 70. Oh. There go the word Arab. But it got the word M in front of it. Oh, there go the word more. There go the word more. Morab. 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 So we see right there that is evident.